Dear me, is it time to go off and fight again already? All this running around is getting quite exasperating. I have half a mind to transform into a kitsune and hitch a ride on your shoulder. You'd like that, wouldn't you? In your dreams. Oh, little one, you've still got a long way before Yae Miko the Wise and Beautiful permits you to see her true form.
Thanks for inviting me here. If there's nothing too urgent that needs your attention, why not take a seat and relax for a bit? I'll make you some tea. Oh, don't mention it. It's nothing, really. I'd hate to see anyone who needs my care tiring themselves out too much.
You need a break already? Your travels sure have made you soft. Can't we just go and get this over with? We're not fighting a trained army here. We'll run circles around those morons. All right, suit yourself. Just don't keep me waiting too long.
This is a nice little challenge, isn't it? Getting out into the world with your friends, exploring all its nooks and crannies. It's exactly the sort of thing you should be doing while you're young. Back when I fell into those strange ruins, I didn't have a single other person to talk to. I only had myself to rely on. Now that was a true challenge, let me tell you. That said, I wouldn't recommend that experience to anyone.
You intend to take a rest? I concur. You do look quite tired. Self-knowledge is a good trait to have. Better to walk at a slower pace if it means you will travel further in the end. I brought some coffee candies. Here, take one.
Don't be too weirded out if you see me with my mask off while we rest. I'm just getting some fresh air. This place is way too idle. It gets to you after a while. Gotta take some deep breaths. Not that I'm rushing you, of course. I'll wait until you've made your preparations in full.
You call crushing ants a challenge? The novelty of these little scuffles quickly wore off for me. Now it's just tedious. It amazes me that some people enjoy it so much. Keep up if you want my help. I don't want to be stuck here all day.
Mr. Honorary Knight, guess what I found? Loads of stories that Mommy used to read to me. Whenever I shouted out, "No, we can't let that happen," Mommy would give me a pen and paper and let me finish the rest of the story myself. By climbing through the window, or popping out from a nearby bush, or coming down from a tree, I always found a way to bring Todoko into the story. Those who lurk within this place are but lowly pawns, the last remnants of the usurper's army. By the time the Princessend of Ertelung stands before them, my bolts of downfall will have long since severed their ties with the forces of fate. My subjects will surely sing their songs of praise, but to the Princessin, this is but one more triumph to add to the annals.
I think I'll read a little before the next battle begins. Please refrain from recommending something like a newspaper. I recognize that short-form articles may be a fitting choice, considering the limited amount of time at our disposal. But they're simply not to my taste.
Want to get some shut-eye and rest for a bit? I'll keep you company. Or, if you're not sleepy, how about we chat for a bit? Maybe I could tell you a story. Oh, sorry. Am I talking too much? I just get so excited when I'm in a new place. I want to see everything there is to see. I've always got the energy to explore.
There are many reasons why a samurai might draw their blade, but the principle is always the same. To do what they know in their heart is right. Though we walk a perilous path where powerful foes face us at every turn, and though I cannot sense what lies at its end, I tread onwards with no fear in my heart. My mind is at ease, for I tread this path in your company.
When storytellers tell tales pertaining to oneself, they often resort to slapdash stitchwork derived from decrepit documents, garnished with a glut of aggrandizement. Entertaining, to be sure, but do not believe everything you hear. Of course, if you wish to hear the truth, you need only ask me. In fact, one is suddenly reminded of an old tale. It begins with a gathering of the Adepti at Dreyun Karst.
There are so many enemies here. If all of them were written into a yokai story, it'd be dark long before you finish just reading the names out. But fear not, the invincible Yoimi is here to save you from the clutches of the evil yokai! Okay, that was a little embarrassing, but I sounded pretty cool, right?
The scoundrels who slink around in here are fools, all of them. To posture menacingly before mortals is one thing. But to persist even after witnessing one's Adeptus arts? It is sheer illiteracy in the face of manifestly legible writing on the wall. These dullards would be no match, even for one's two disciples, let alone oneself.
Before I go on a long journey, I tend to leave the children of the House of the Hearth with some homework to complete in my absence. Many of them, however, simply play to their heart's content for most of the time I am gone, then rush to get their homework done in the final few days before my return. They believe I am none the wiser, but I have simply elected not to expose their chicanery. After all, to complete one's work in a short time frame is a skill in its own right.
I know that many of the younger generation see me as a sort of legendary figure. Why, my stories and my accomplishments can even be found in Kasharawar textbooks. But it does seem that people aren't quite used to having a legend living among them. No one takes my courses or pays attention to my research. Even securing research funding can be a struggle. If I were lucky enough to have one of my predecessors here in the flesh, I'd be waiting on her hand and foot, serving her tea, massaging her shoulders, asking her all sorts of questions. What happened to this generation? Where is their inquisitiveness? Where is their respect?
I wonder whether this potion I made has any potential combat applications. Oh, don't worry. I understand that this isn't an appropriate location to conduct those kinds of experiments. It's too risky, and might do more harm than good if something went wrong. It's just hard to switch off and rest when All these hypotheses are swirling around in my brain.
Huh? This is supposed to be out of print! I've been looking for this for ages! I can't believe it! I wonder what else there is around here that I've been missing. I mean, the scrolls of destiny that anchor this realm in time and space make for a rather interesting read. Oz, lend me thy beak and lift the veil of darkness. By the power of my Ode de Verurtelang, the tears and suffering described herein shall be etched in my memory, and so shall I bestow upon them my blessing.
I once read a story about a wonderful paradise. Later on in life, it was also books that got me interested in studying alchemy. It's funny, but even now, that storybook about paradise and my alchemy textbooks are right next to each other on the bookshelf next to my bed. One day, I hope to break down the barriers between those books by using bioalchemy to create that paradise for real.
Traveler from another world, you have the princess's permission to enjoy a brief moment of peace. But be ready, for once I have peered into this dark dominion and beheld the treachery within, I shall rain down thundering retribution upon this place. And when the curtain of doom falls, thou shalt give it thy full, undivided attention.
I don't believe anyone enjoys taking up arms and going to war unless they're seeking to fulfill some other desire. Whenever the sound of clashing blades fades into the distance, I appreciate the silence that follows all the more. Too quiet for you? Then I'll play a tune on the leaf, so you can be surrounded with the sound of nature.
That rabble we fought sure picked the wrong crew to mess with. I'd say they won't make that mistake again. But we already made sure of that. With my skills and experience on your team, they don't stand a chance, no matter what they throw at us. I don't have eyes in the back of my head, though, so just make sure you got my back.
I am considering whether to fetch my outstanding paperwork so that I can look through it during our downtime. Overkill? Maybe you're right. In that case, I'll brew some coffee. I'll make one for you too.
If it's okay with you, I think we should check all the pillars in this room, just to make sure they're sturdy. If I spend too long in one place, sooner or later, accidents happen. It's not me I'm worried about, but if I'm gonna keep on adventuring with you, we gotta make sure everybody else is safe.